Get cooking, cooking, cooking with Patty.
Top of the morning to you. What are you making on this St. Patty's Day? I've got an idea. If you're not into corned beef and cabbage, what about making a big batch of Irish beef stew? This is the easiest recipe. Everybody loves it, and it's just delicious. Starts out with a couple of pounds, about 2.5 pounds of stew meat, and that's, usually I get the butcher to do it for me, or you can buy a chuck roast and cut it up into 2-inch cubes. Works great. And then I've got some onion, about a cup of diced onion. And I love this recipe because you can do it in the oven for hours. And this is one of those recipes where you don't need to brown the beef. Usually I say brown the beef first. It works out really nicely in this recipe, and if you just throw it all together and mix it together, and no browning. I also have some celery and just some wonderful peeled baby carrots. You can just leave those whole in there. They look really pretty in the stew. Now, because we're not browning that beef, we really need to season it up well. And we're starting with 1 tablespoon of my favorite garlic salt, a couple teaspoons of black pepper, 1 tablespoon, believe it or not, of sugar. And don't worry, this won't be real sweet. It just really works well with the tomatoes we're going to put in this stew. And 4 tablespoons of tapioca. And that's going to make a nice, thick stew gravy. And I'm just combining that all together. And I'm going to pour that over the veggies and the beef. And I have to tell you, this recipe was inspired by an old friend who is passed, and I'm sure is looking down today on us from heaven, Arlene Conant. And she made this great oven-baked beef stew, and this is kind of a variation of her recipe. Now, we've got 1 28-ounce can of diced tomatoes with the juice. And that's why we've got that little bit of sugar in there, just to sweeten things up. And then 2 cups of beef broth. And that's it. I mean, this is the easiest recipe ever. You can do this morning, get this baking all day. You can also do this recipe in a slow cooker. Works wonderful. In fact, we did a big batch of it, huge batch, tripled the batch last night for the residents of Golden House. We like to do dinners for them every once in a while, and so our crew put together a great dinner, and everybody there loved it. Okay, so this now gets into a large baking dish, or again, a slow cooker or a Nesco, and you cover it with foil and bake it at 300 for a good 3 hours. Now, you say, when do the potatoes come in? The last hour of cooking. I don't want to put the potatoes in now because then they'll turn into mashed potatoes. So I like to use the baby reds, but whatever potatoes you have on hand, and then just dice or quarter them, throw them in the last hour, continue to cover the stew with the foil and bake for another hour. So for that meat to get tender, it needs at least 3 to 4 hours in the oven, so make sure you allow plenty of time. But take a look at this. It's so wonderful. Everybody loves it. Serve that hot out of the oven with some great stuff we picked up for St. Patty's Day. The folks at Festival have really outdone themselves. They actually carry a St. Patrick's Holy Spirit's wine. No, it's not green, but it comes in a green bottle. The wonderful Irish St. Patrick's snake bread, great rye bread from the bakery, and of course Irish treats, the cupcakes and the cookies and things like that. So there you go, my Irish beef stew. Everybody loves it, and I mean, it just doesn't get much easier than that. Make sure you watch Living with Amy. We're having a St. Patty's Day party. You're invited, from corned beef and cabbage to some layered chocolate mint brownies and a whole lot more. We'll see you at 9 o'clock right after Good Day Wisconsin. And you know me, I'm always cooking. I've got a great recipe this weekend. Fire up the grill. We're going to do some Greek ribeye steak Sunday, so make sure and watch. Happy St. Patty's Day, everybody. Recipes are on our website. We'll be back.